Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to use a custom action system, which is a really easy way to add your own code in Survival Engine. So the way it works, it's using Unity's scriptable objects. So if you go in the resource action, you will see all the existing actions that are already there that you can use or that are already inside the demo. Well, we're going to create a new one to show you how you can do that. So you will go into the script action folder, and then we will right click, create C# script, going to call it action plant destroy. Okay, we're going to open this. Okay, so you don't want this to be a mono behavior, you want this to inherit from the one of the three base actions, which are either S action. Right now I don't find it because I need to say using Survival Engine. So either S action, M action, or A action. So the first one is for an action that you can select yourself manually, so the pop-up will appear with all the available actions. When you use the A action, this means automatic action, so it will be performed automatically just by clicking on the object. And the last one is a merge action. That's an action that you do by combining either two items or one item with a selectable in the scene. So you will also want to remove the default function, and we're going to start with the standard action here. So we're going to open this one, go to definition, and we will copy the function that we want to use. So since this action will be on a selectable and not on an item, we will copy the selectable one here, and then here too. Okay, so there's another thing you will want to copy, and I'm going to use one of the other action as a reference. It's the create asset menu here. So I'm going to take this line, bring it into the new one, and we're going to change this by plant destroy. Okay, and you will want to change the virtual by override, so that it override the ones from the class that we inherit. So this is the function that will be called when you perform the action, and this is the function that is called just to know if you're allowed to perform it. So when you just return true, that means that there's no condition. So in the first example, we will not have a condition, so we will leave that to true. Okay, and now what we can do is just to call the destroy function. I know in Unity you have this function too, that is just destroy game object, for example like this, but we don't want to use that because this function does a bit more things like removing the object from the save files. So if you're going to destroy anything that is from the selectable, that comes from the selectable class, then you don't want to use this function that we are usually using in Unity, and instead you want to use the destroy function to make sure that everything is removed correctly. Okay, so now that we have the script, the next thing that we want to do is to create the action. So we will go into resources, action, and then I will right click, create, data, action, create, data, action, and then plant destroy. So this menu comes from the create asset menu tag that we've added in the script. I will call this plant destroy, and I will give it a title destroy. So the next thing to do is you will click on the object that you want to add the action. Usually you probably want to add this into the prefab, but since we're just doing a test, we will add it directly here. And then plant destroy, and then we will test in the game. Okay, so if now I click on this, the action that are available will appear. I click on destroy, and it destroy the plant. Okay, so that does destroy the plant, but there was no animation from the character, so it was not very interesting. So we're going to change it and add a small animation before the plants get destroyed. So I'm going to go back to the script, and I will call the action trigger actions function. This is a function that will call an animation and then call another function after the animation is done. So we're going to do attack. If you want to know which animation are available, you can always go back to the character animator controller to see what are all the trigger. So right here, and double click, so you see here what are all the available animations. And then face at will be the object that it's facing while doing this, so it would be the selectable. We will do this for 1 second, and then we will call a new function when this is done. And we will put destroy inside this. So this means destroy now will only be called after the animation is done. Let's try this. Okay, so I click on the plant, I click destroy. Now there's an attack animation, and only after the animation the plant gets destroyed. Okay, so next we're going to do an action that is a bit more complicated, so you can see all the other things that you can do. I'm going to duplicate this action, and we're going to create something else. So I'm going to call this harvest. Okay, so I will double click on this. I will call this harvest, and then here too, harvest. Then we're going to add the action right away, so it's already done. Data action, data action plant harvest. I'm also going to add this action into the action list, and now we're going to edit the script. So for this one, we will want to access the plant script and not the selectable one. So I'm going to access it using select.getComponent plant. I want to make sure that it's a script that really has a plant attached to it. And then I'm going to do gather character. So this function should start the animation for the character to harvest the plant's fruit and then add it to the inventory. We will also add a condition. We want to make sure that the fruit is ready. In our case, it's not really a fruit because it's a wheat plant, but in the mechanic, in the script, it's called fruit. So we're also going to access the plant, and then we will return plant.asFruit. And if there's no plant script, then we will just return false. Okay, let's try this. Okay, so when I click here, the only action I see is destroy, because there's a condition that says asFruit, and right now, as you can see, the top here has not finished growing, so the action does not appear. But if you want to test that, I have a trick here that you can do. If you minimize the window and you go into resources, game data, and then you can speed up the game time so that the fruit will appear faster. We will speed up until, okay, it's there already. So now we will maximize again, not this one. We'll maximize the game view, and then the action should appear when I click. I forgot to give it a name. So what you want to do usually is go here, action, then find the harvest action, and we need to add a title. So we will write harvest, and then we will try again. There you go. So now if I click there, I will harvest it, and then it appears in my inventory. Alright, so now we're going to try the same thing but on an item instead, just so that you can see how it's done when it's for an item in your inventory. So we're going to try a new action here. Action collect seed. We are going to be using survival engine, and then it will still be S action, but this time we will copy the one that have item slot. And replace by override. I'm going to add a variable here that we can edit called seed, and then we will add the asset menu, collect seed. So in this case, what we are trying to do is that you will have the wheat item and you want to convert this item to the seed version of the plant. So the condition, we'll leave it to true for now. And then we're going to try to remove the item and then add the new one. So from the item slot, you can access the item by doing this, get item, and then you can do remove item and then put the slot index here. So you actually don't need this, but this can be useful, for example, that there's actually an item into this slot. This could be here, but this is not really an issue right now because usually for the inventory you just can't right click when there's no item, so we don't really need that. And then the next step will be to do gain item. So there's another function called take item, but this is really with the animation when you're taking an item that is on the floor. So it will run all the animation, remove the item from the floor and all that. But if you do gain item, it will really create a completely new item. And we're going to gain the seed one. Just one. And then that's it. Okay, we need to put the source too. So the source will be the character itself, because we want the animation to be played there. So now let's go create the action. So I go into resources, action, create, data, action, and then collect seed, collect. Then I will choose which item I want, so seed wheat, and then we're going to add a test item into the scene. And we're going to add the action here. Actually, for this, you don't want to add the action here because this is for selectable. So these are the action that will happen when you click on it and it's in the scene directly. But this time we want it to appear in the inventory, so we will go on the data file instead. So any action that you want to appear on the inventory, you will add on the data file, and any action that you want to appear on the actual object, then you will put on the selectable. So if you go into the data file, you will have action here. So we can add one called collect seed, and then we're going to test this. Okay, so let's take the item. Then I will right click on this. Now we have the new action here, collect. So if I click on it, this should convert to the seed version. There you go. And you saw that the animation started from here because the source, we put the character as the source. Now we have a completely new item. Okay, so I'm not going to explain the automatic action because that one really works the same way. It's just that instead of having the pop-up menu that appear, then you just click on the selectable directly and then it will perform the action automatically, but it works exactly the same way. The difference is that if you have more than one automatic action, then it will try to do the first one. Unless the condition is not respected, then it will try to do the second one, and so on, if you have more than one, instead of letting the player choose which one they want to do. So the last thing I'm going to show you instead is the merge action. This one is a bit more complicated, so I want to make sure that you understand how to create that too. So we're going to go into scripts, actions, and create a new one. Just for the fun of it, we're going to combine wheat and corn into something else. So we will call it combine. I will open this using survival engine. Then we're going to use the M action. I'm going to copy the tag. Remove this. Go into here so we can copy the definition. In this case, so you have two types of action that you can do. You can either combine two items together or one item with a selectable. We're going to do the two item one. And then you can also copy the condition. So this one already has a condition, and it's basically just making sure that the item you're combining with is the right one. So you're not just like combining with a random item. You could change that and add more condition, but for this example, we'll just leave it like that. And then this you need to replace to override. So we're going to add a few items in the scene so we can test the example. I'm going to add corn. Actually, we need to create the action first, so I'm going to go into action, create. There should be combine somewhere, combine. And then we're going to add the action to the corn item here, combine. So in this case, you don't actually need to add the action to both objects. You just need to add it to one of them. But after that, you will want to add a condition to make sure that you're not just combining this with anything. You're combining this with the right object. So for that, you will want to create a group. We'll just call it a wheat combine group. We don't need to add anything here for now. And then on the wheat one, we will add this group. Wheat combine group. And then we will go back to the script and we will choose we will add the variable to determine what's the item that will be created from combining two. So now we're going to go on the action. We're going to say what's the target group here, which is wheat combine group, and then the item, I don't know, let's say when you combine both, you create a diamond. So this is it for the setup here. Now we're just going to code the action. So we are going to first remove the two items. So we will do character remove item slot index. Then we duplicate this, do it for the other one. Then we're going to do character gain item and gain the new one. Alright, let's test this. Okay, so the way to combine item is really just to take one and then click on the other, and then this should trigger the combine action if the condition are respected. So let's just try it. I take the corn, I put on top of the wheat, and I gain a diamond from it, and the other 2 items will remove. So alright, I think this is it for this video. I think we've covered most of the basics of how to create custom actions. There's probably a few things that I've missed, but if you have any question, feel free to write in the comments, and I try to answer them as much as possible. Thank you.